you're a woman looking to lose 8 to 10 kg over the next 90 days, here's what I would do without adding in random extra cardio, without adding in very intense measures to get there, so you can see this progress and even more than you're already doing by doing less. Because for me and my clients, there is no worse situation than pushing yourself so much and still not seeing that progress come through. And for so many women that I work with, and if you're a woman watching this, you're a fucking go-getter. You're a woman with a high demanding career, with a family, with friends, with pets, and you're thinking, how the hell am I supposed to get snatched, lose this weight, and still give myself to everything around me? This is how we're going to do it. We're going to be setting some systems in place for optimization. And this is the exact structure that I follow, that I've lost about 7 kg in the last 11 weeks now, and the same structure that I give to all of my one-to-one clients so they can see progress even faster while doing less. Let's get into it. First of all, I want to talk about what actually happens when you go all in, especially during this time of the year where I see a lot of women who I love, by the way. I'm so here for this. You want to push and you want to really push yourself in terms of seeing the most amount of progress that you can for maybe a holiday coming up. It's summertime, you want to feel your best, you want to feel sexy, you want to get snatched. But when they do go all in, these are the type of things that I see them doing, right? We've got things like jumping on every single class in the gym just to burn some calories, whether it's the spinning classes the instructor is doing, whether it's any Pilates classes, you're trying to get yourself booked for absolutely everything. And then what I see is going into the gym and doing too much cardio. You're jumping on the Stairmaster 3 times a week, doing 1-hour sessions. You're going on to the incline treadmill to just burn that fat and burn as many calories as possible, looking down at your Apple Watch to see how many calories you have actually burnt. And then we have going into the gym a little bit more often, whether it's for your cardio session or whether it's for your weight training session. And then I see women increase their steps, waking up earlier, going out for walks, or just trying to walk around the house at the end of the day to hit a random absurd number of like 15, 20,000 steps a day, even when it might not be right for you. Now, if you are doing this or any version of this where you have kind of put a little bit more intention between what you have been doing and what you're currently doing now to see more results, this is what's going to happen. And you might have probably experienced this before when you try to go all in for a holiday or for a wedding. Number one, the first week, the second week, you're going to be feeling motivated because you've just set this goal, you've just set these habits in place and you're ready to push, right? So you're going to be on it. You're going to be sticking to everything. You're going to be getting your steps done. You're going to be getting your training done. You're looking forward to the sessions, right? But when week 3, week 4 hits, what's going to happen from a physical perspective in your body is your recovery is not going to be as good. You're going to be feeling more fatigued. You're going to be feeling tired, and you'll find yourself feeling super drained. And this is where we get these times where we're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take this week off and I'm going to get back to it next week. You might find yourself in the trap of, oh, I'm just going to chill this weekend. I'm going to maybe order a takeaway. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm going to take this weekend as a rest and I'm going to start again on Monday, right? And if you're finding yourself in this loop, if you're finding yourself stuck in these places where you are taking a week off or you are starting again next Monday, or sometimes your routine is, falling off track and you're calling it balance, unfortunately, my friend, that is inconsistency. Okay, and your body is not going to respond to something that you are doing inconsistently, but it will only give you the progress when you are showing up for yourself consistently. So how do we do this without actually doing all of those things, without falling into I'll start again next Monday, and actually continuing to see the scale drop and your waist go in and get 10 kg down, right? And it's through optimization of your routine. One thing I do want to say is, if you're watching this, I love that you're so determined and you're so ready and resilient and you want to push through to see this. And the fact that you are doing these fucking Stairmaster sessions, the fact that you're booking onto these classes, and the fact that you are pushing yourself so much with your steps, I love to see it, which means you've got so much discipline inside of you. But I can reassure you that you don't have to be doing the most. You don't have to be doing all of these things to see progress, okay? So what we're going to do now is set 3 optimization things into place for your routine so you can see more consistency and you can see that weight drop even faster, Because right now you're working hard, you're pushing hard, and I love to see it. But what you want to be doing instead is working and pushing yourself in the most optimized and effective way possible. And this is going to allow you to see more consistency over the 90-day period, right? Whereas if you're training in the way that I just described in the beginning with doing the most, then across 90 days, you're going to find yourself having weeks where you haven't stuck to that because it is too much for you, right? So number one, we're going to get optimized with your training routine. And this is where my clients get so shocked when they hire me, because one of my clients, Pav, she was training for 4 years alone, 4 to 5 years alone, and she was going into the gym 4, 5, 6 times a week, right? And she was pushing heavy. She was spending 2 hours at the gym, deadlift, squats, bench press, doing everything she possibly could to see progress. Her steps were super, super high as well. Her calories were really low. And I can do another video on calories and how to eat more and see more progress, because yes, we are all foodies around here. And if you are as well, drop me a subscribe, because I am so excited to show you exactly how to live your best life and still continue to seeing your best freaking progress. Now, Pav, and when we dropped our sessions down to just 3 to 4 shorter sessions, guess what? She dropped about 12 kg in about 4 to 5 months. Because when you are so optimized with your training and you reduce the frequency, what's going to happen is it's going to be easier for you now to give your all and push yourself properly in these sessions. Whereas if you're spreading your energy thinly across 5 or 6 sessions, you're probably finding yourself spending so long in the gym because you're tired, you're taking long rest breaks because you just want to get the session done, and you're trying to push yourself across 5 sessions, where if you just did 3 sessions or 4 sessions or even 2, which my clients are getting incredible results from, you're going to be able to, number one, fuel yourself properly for that session before you go with your nutrition, with everything else I'm going to talk about in this video. And number 2, you're going to be able to push till failure. You're going to be able to go into that session feeling refreshed, feeling recovered. Your muscles aren't aching. You're not pushing through for the sake of pushing through, and you're genuinely excited and energized to be there. And when you're in that position, and of course your exercise orders are in place in the most optimized way, you're going to be able to push yourself with pushing heavier weights. You're going to be able to push yourself for pushing till failure, which is so super important, especially when you're trying to get to a position where you want to lose fat and still stay snatched and stay hourglass. You want to be able to maximize your training potential at the gym and push close enough to failure to maximize muscle growth, to maximize fat loss. But if you can imagine, your body was not designed and created to push yourself till failure every single day or 5 or 6 times a week, right? Especially for a woman like you who has a job, who has things going on. You can't be dedicating all of that space and time and energy to be able to do that, right? Which is why doing 3 sessions, 45 minutes is probably going to be the best for you. It's optimized, it's short, you can push through, get everything done, and you can be in and out so quickly, right? And when you optimize your training in this way, can you see the energy that you're saving in the week, which means week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, all across those 90 days, that's something you can actually stick to. That is something that you can actually continue to do across 90 days. Whereas if you're going all in 5 or 6 sessions a week, when it comes to week 4, rather than taking that whole week off because you're tired and fatigued, which is going to happen, you're actually still showing up for yourself and you're putting your body through a space of consistency. And as I said, your body always responds well to what you do consistently, not what you do when you're just pushing as hard as possible, okay? Because that's creating up and down blocks, and we don't want that. Now that we've optimized your training, right? And I've got a video on how to actually see more progress without lifting heavy, so you should go check that out as well. But now we're going to talk about optimizing your routine, because this video is all about how can I do less and see more progress. And you're thinking, I don't have time in my week to see my friends, to do my work, to chill, to relax, to meal prep, to go shopping, to see my family, to see my parents. There's so much going on, right? So let's get a little bit creative with how we're spending our socials, because for someone like you, and for someone like me, I'm a social butterfly. I like to see my friends across the week, at least 2 times, right? And this means for me that normally, oh, let's go for a dinner. Okay, but if that's happening every week, couple of times a week, of course, that's going to take me out of my deficit. That's going to end up me wanting to fit in more time for training after I finish that dinner, because, you know, some people like to undo their progress, or you try to overcompensate for doing these kind of socials with waking up even earlier to get a gym session in. But what if you could actually incorporate your social time as part of your goals? Like with my partner right now, what we're doing is we're trying out different parks around our area every single weekend. We're trying out different hikes, right? So that way we're spending time together, but I'm optimizing my social life, I'm optimizing my relationships so that I can still spend time with them, because at the end of the day, that is what's most important, right? Like when you spend time with your friends, I guarantee you probably don't think about the exact restaurant that you went to. You probably can't like think about the exact meal that you had. You can't think about probably, you know, what you exactly did, but I can guarantee you that you're thinking about, wow, I love that friend. I love my partner. We have such a good time together, no matter what you were doing, right? So optimize that and do things that align with your goals as well. Because the question that you want to be asking yourself right now is not what more can I add, but it's more about how can I get these goals to fit into my life seamlessly. And sometimes that does mean shifting around what you're doing for your social time with your friends and with your family to something that makes you also get fitter and get towards your goals faster. This is how you incorporate and integrate your fat loss with your lifestyle, with your friends and with your family, so everything comes together, so it feels seamless. You're not going out of your way to do more. It's already fitting in naturally with your lifestyle, right? And this goes for work. And if you haven't read James Clear, Atomic Habits, it's such a great beginner book to fit in habits and how to actually get really optimized. And it's one of the first well-being kind of self-help books I read, like, I don't know, probably 7-8 years ago. And it's always stayed with me, because every time, even when I'm working, I like to habit stack that. I like to incorporate it and integrate it within my goals. I've got a stepper, so I can get onto my stepper and plan this YouTube video. So that way, okay, my work's done, but I've also got my steps in, right? So think about how you can integrate not just your social life, but your work life into your day, so you're not doing more, but you're just doing it together. This could be taking client calls while you're on a walk, if you can do that. I know some jobs aren't set up for that kind of vibe, but if it is, then what can you do? Can you maybe get through your emails while you're getting your steps in? Can you get a standing desk and get a little stepper underneath it so you can still do your work without going outside? What can you do to integrate your work life better with your goals? Next up, we have one of the most important ones, optimizing your recovery. Now, for the first section that I went over with when you're doing 20,000 steps, booking every class, doing lots of cardio, your body is never fully recovered, because you're putting yourself through something every single day. Muscle grows when you recover, when you rest, right? You feel more energized when you rest and recover, so you can come back stronger for your session. But if you are recognizing yourself in the woman that is doing everything, you're probably finding yourself that your body is always consistently under-rested, which means that your stress levels might be higher, which means that you're under-fueled, which means that you're showing up to even work feeling tired because you're not recovering and resting in the most optimized way. And what I mean by that is, are you switching off from work at a decent time so you can actually spend some time off your phone, off your screens, to give yourself that space, give yourself that time physically and mentally to start winding down so your stress levels aren't continuously high? And when your stress levels are continuously high, that's going to put a block on your fat loss. So when you are resting up in the most optimized way, fat loss becomes easier, and guess what? You're doing even less because you're resting more. There are so many different elements to optimizing your recovery. One of them is sleep. Are you getting enough sleep at night? Are you getting 8 hours? You know, and if you're not right now, that would be my first place that I'm looking at, because that is the domino effect for everything, okay? For your cravings, for your nutrition, for your recovery, for your fat loss, for everything. Next up, we've got how are you recovering in between sessions? Are you taking days where you're not training at all and you're just doing something very light, whether it's walking or doing a very low intensity walk without the incline, without the Stairmaster, just something very relaxed? Then we've got stress management, and this could be something from work, this could be stress from day-to-day life, family things. What do you have in place that you're doing daily and weekly to manage your stress levels? And I'm gonna actually make another video on this because it's such a super important topic for women, especially who are doing all the right things, but when your stress levels are constantly high, your fat loss will never happen. So I'm definitely going to be making a video on that one, and if you want that, drop a comment below as well. But when it comes to your stress levels, just very quickly, based on that, your body doesn't recognize the difference between a physical stressor and a mental stressor. And of course, when you have work stress, environment stress, when you have family stress or any type of stress, stress is stress, right? And your body to that is going to not respond very well to it, which means if your stress levels are always going up and down throughout the day, your body is not in a relaxed position to be able to see fat loss. So this is why doing less is always going to win for fat loss, because when you are doing those 20,000 steps every single day, when you are putting yourself through intense cardio every single day, your physical stressor on your body is high. So that means your body is not going to be able to see that progress because you're consistently putting it under physical stress. Without the recovery as well, it's going to be an even worse situation for your fat loss. Because I know for you, you love pushing yourself, and I love that about you, but you also need to make sure that everything is optimized with your training, with your recovery, and with your routine. And can you see when you implement these 3 optimizations into your day, how easy it becomes for you to just continue that role of fat loss? Because the woman who is doing the most, 20,000 steps, cardio every single day, we've already been through this, right? It's always going to crash. It's always going to crash. Energy, recovery, everything, right? Woman number 2, who is doing everything in the most optimized way, is going to be able to be consistent for a longer period of time to see more results. So always be the woman B who is optimized as fuck, who's always going to see the most amount of progress. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to drop me a like, subscribe to my channel, and go check out my video on how to actually get even more snatched without lifting heavy at the gym, which links very nicely within this video. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.